Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Miss O'Brien. Today I'm going to teach you about story structure. But first, let's talk about one thing. If I ask you a question during this video, I want you to pause the video, turn and talk to your teddy bear or your parent or brother and sister. I just want you to talk to a buddy about the question, okay? And then we'll come back to it. So, let's start off with one of the main components of story structure. Do you know what this word is? It says events. Okay? So pause this video right now and I want you to talk to a buddy about what are events? What is an event? Pause this video. Okay, welcome back. What were your thoughts on what an event might be? Let's see if you were right. Events are things that happen in a story, told in a sequence or order, and uses details to identify and describe the events. So, how about like when you wake up in the morning? What's the first thing that you do? Maybe you brush your teeth. Maybe you eat breakfast. So that's an event. Let's talk about that. So, the first thing you do. Why did I ask that? Let's see. The first thing you do in a story, when you're talking about the first thing that happens in an event, you're talking about the most important event that happens in the beginning of the story. So if you were telling me a story about your day and you said, first I woke up and I ate breakfast. I had cereal. That's the first event. That's what happened in the beginning. And then next, pause this video and tell me what you think is going to come next in your story. Pause the video. Okay, welcome back. What did you do next in your story for what you did today or yesterday? Let's see. You should have said something that was the most important event that happened in the middle of your day. Okay? And then can you guess what happens last in the story? I bet you can. Let's see. The most important event that happens in the end of your story. So, if you're telling me a story about your day, what's the last thing you did? If I was telling you a story about my day, and I said, first, I woke up and I brushed my teeth and I had breakfast. Next, I went to the grocery store. That happened in the middle of my day. I went and got groceries. And then last, I ate dinner. And then I took a shower and I got in bed. That was at the end of my story. Okay? So that's really important. This is sentence structure. You say what happened first, and then next in your story, and then what was the last thing that happened in your story. Okay, so we're going to talk about a story that you're familiar with. We just went over it. It's called The Art Lesson. Do you remember this story? I want you to take a second, pause this video, talk to your teddy bear or buddy, and tell me, what do you think the first thing that happened in the story, The Art Lesson? So, what is the most important event that happens in the beginning of the art lesson? Pause this video and talk to your buddy about it. Okay, what did you come up with? Let's talk about it. The art lesson. In the beginning of the story, let's see what it tells us. He knew he wanted to be an artist when he grew up. He really likes to draw a lot. So I think the beginning of our story, the most important event is that Tommy loves to draw, right? Okay. Now, pause this video again and tell me what happens in the middle of this story. What is the next most important event that happens in this story? Pause this video and talk to your buddy. Okay, so then next, what did you come up with? Let's see. What happens next in the story? They brought all of his drawings to work and to the house, Grandma's house. They had Tommy's drawings everywhere. But then in the story, Tommy got his own crayon box. Do y'all remember that? And then he tried to bring them to school and draw with them, and his teacher told him, "You have to use the school's crayons. You can't use these crayons." Do you remember that? That wasn't really fair, was it? So, I think that is one important thing that happened in the middle of the story. Tommy went to school, and he brought his crayons to draw and show everybody his drawings with his crayons. And his teacher told him, "You can't use these. You have to use what everybody else uses because that's what's fair." And the teacher was right. You can't use your own crayons at school when we have stuff provided for you. But that's only because it was a turned-in assignment, right? Okay, so in the middle of this story, he didn't really know exactly where he could draw. He didn't know when he could draw. Do you remember when he drew in his sheets and on the wall? Do you remember that? When he drew on the wall? You're not allowed to do that, are you? And then in the sheets? You can't do that. You'll get in trouble. So that was the middle. He didn't really know exactly what his rules were when he was drawing. And then let's talk about what happens last in the story. Pause your video and talk to your teddy bear and tell him what is the last thing that happens in the art lesson. Pause your video. Welcome back. Okay, I want you to tell me what happens last in this story. Let's see. Tommy learns that he's not supposed to copy people's art, and so he expresses his feelings with that, right? And then the teachers come up with an agreement. If you finish the assignment with the teacher's crayons, with the school crayons, then I'll give you one extra piece of paper for you to use your crayons with. And so he finished his assignment, and then he got to draw, right? He drew his pilgrims and his turkey and everything there. Then he was allowed to use his own crayons. And then the last page shows you old Tommy. He has gray hair, huh? And he's still drawing. He has all of these pictures that he's drawn over time. So it shows you that Tommy drew for the rest of his life. So that's the last thing that happens. The last most important event that happens in the story is that Tommy finally got to use all of his crayons, and then he drew for forever. Okay, so let's go over it one more time. Story structure. An event is a thing that happens in a story told in a sequence or order, uses details to identify and describe the events. And then, when we're telling a story, remember, we don't want to start with the last thing that happened, and then the middle, and then the first, because we'll be confused. What if I told you, "Oh yeah, today I went to bed, and then I went grocery shopping, and then I brushed my teeth after I got out of bed this morning"? It doesn't make sense. You have to tell it in the right order. First, next, and then last. So remember that the next time you're telling a story.